it varies.
You're a handsome little man. You are so handsome. Oh, you're gorgeous. Do you know how gorgeous you are? Stop.
Oh my god.
That's just a puppy. Y'all are so cute.
No, okay. Isabella has.
You're like the most active Pac-Man frog I've ever seen in my life.
He's settling back down.
Yeah, no. After I turned the camera on, he's like, actually, no, I will be a normal Pac-Man frog. He was jumping. This is what I aspire to be. A sleeping bearded dragon in a hammock. Oh my god. No, and then also this dog. Perfect dog. What a good dog. So beautiful.
I've got deals on these guys. I've got the 3 for $80 deal, and I'm also going to be doing 5.
So cool. Thank you. Oh, that's a beautiful gargoyle.
Wait, he's good.
You're beautiful. And you're beautiful. And you're beautiful.
He's doing some yoga.
You're gorgeous. You are so pretty.
How big his head is.
That's why people do like the quarter test on them, where they put like a quarter on their head to say that they're full grown.
Amazing.
They're beautiful. Hit it anyway. Oh, please. You are so pretty. You're such a pretty little man.
Chocolate red base.
You're so pretty. So pretty.
I don't mess with chocolates ever, because it doesn't get you where you want to go. They're nice. They're nice. They're good. I'll check them out.
This one's a sweetie. He's so good.
That's my part.
Oh no, I would. Yeah, no, I would never. He's good.
No, I'm just saying these.
If I got a frog, what if I said I get a frog now?
You don't have the space for that. Look at
But they're so little. Look at this one. They're so cute. I've never seen flat ones
I can
before.
light them up if you want.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. Because I've never seen. Oh my god, that's so cool.
There's one young one in here somewhere.
How big do they get?
Those are adults.
Oh my god, really?
And then the young ones actually have a much brighter fluorescence.
That's so cool. Oh, you are so cute. Are you kidding me? This is so cool. Should Quentin get the lizard that looks like a toy? It's so freaky looking. That doesn't even look real. Oh my god. Someone get him and let him out, please. Someone stop me. What if I take this home? I could do it. I could. Yeah, the whole kiddie pool with it, it'd be totally fine. I could take that home. It's easy. You are so cute. Just like splooted out on the floor. Oh, I'm sure. Sweetheart, though. If I could get one, I would. That one's gorgeous. I don't mind spicy. I just always am craving pad thai.
See, I don't mind spicy either, but it has to be a spicy that I can eat.
That's fair.
Like, well, because they're smaller, so I also don't need them to be bigger. Also, I think it grows really slow. I will have time.
That's good at least.
Also, I just found out that if I just put off the sipping.
No, I was gonna just film the cheers because it's so cute. Look at these. Oh my god, why is it heavy? They're heavy. Future Gabby here. I was editing this vlog and I did not realize that apparently I had turned on a setting on my vlog camera that makes everything filmed in like 2 times slow speed and also doesn't record any of the audio. So that's a my bad moment. I didn't know my camera could even do that. I thought to make this vlog a little bit more exciting because I didn't really film all that much is I thought I could talk about my reptiles, which if you don't know, I have 2 snakes. I have 2 snakes. I have clips of getting both of them at the same Reptile Expo in different years in different vlogs, so I will link those somewhere. But I thought we could talk about my pet snakes because I think they're really cool. And I personally have always been a big like pet tube person. I learned a lot and like had my passion for reptiles kind of reignited by pet YouTube, and it's just kind of been such a lovely little experience to have my own little reptiles. And to give some background, I had anoles growing up, like green anoles. I'll insert a picture of what they look like if you don't know what I'm talking about. But I had 2 of them for like most of my childhood. I got them in the 2nd grade. They were our class pets, and my teacher said, hey, if you get permission from your parents to take them home, you can keep them. And I, like the good 2nd grader I was, said, yeah, my parents gave me permission, and my teacher did not question it and let me take 2 of them home. Then my next reptile I did not get until college, and that was my crested gecko Pluto. He unfortunately passed away due to some sort of neurological issue. We never really figured out what it was, but I will insert a photo of Pluto. He was a big sweetie. He had so much personality, and I love crested geckos. It is still a little hard for me like holding them again, but I do think maybe in like a year or 2 I could maybe have another crested gecko, just because I think they're so fun. And honestly, if you are looking for a good beginner reptile, I highly recommend crested geckos. They have a very easy setup, very easy diet. Love crested geckos. And they come in so many fun colors. 2 years ago, I got my first snake, Sesame. She is a Kenyan sandboa. I will try to take out both of my snakes to like show you them at some point. So I guess, should I go get Sesame now? I guess I should. Okay, let me go get her. All right, I just spent a lot of time digging through dirt. If you ever wondered what having a sandboa is like, you have a dirt box and you maybe see your snake once in a while. She's only not sweet when I try to take her out of her enclosure. I have to use a snake hook with her, which if you don't know, it's like a metal hook and you loop it under the snake to pick it up. She will think I am big scary predator, that I'm going to hurt her if I reach my hand in, so she gets a little freaked out then, but other than that, she is much calmer than Casper. This is Sesame. She is a female sandboa. She's growing very slowly because she has had some feeding issues that like kind of come on in the winter. She has a harder time eating and can be a little finicky then, but I think we figured out the problem. So her coloration is called canary, I can never say the next word correctly, dodunum. I will put the like actual word in the description, not in the description, in the video. And it basically means that she is a cream colored snake and she has these dark brown splotches that will not fade as she grows up. They will continue to grow with her, and I think that's really cool. But while we have Sesame here, I figured now would be a good time to answer this question. I put up like a little like snake Q&A over on my Instagram. And one of the first questions is basic things to know before getting your first snake. And because Sesame was my first snake, I figure like this is a good time to answer this. Please do your research. And I don't just mean like watch one YouTube video and go get a snake. Please don't do that. Do a lot of research. I knew I wanted a sandboa since like college. I knew I wanted a snake. I definitely initially was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a ball python as my first snake. No, this is my sandboa. I think they're incredibly easy to take care of. After doing a lot of research, also this is not gonna be a video of me telling you how to care for a snake. Please know that. But basically I had prepared and gained all the necessary knowledge on what her adequate setup was when she was a baby, because I got her when she was only a few months old. And so I had set up the tank for her and provided all the necessary heating and temperature. Make sure my number one thing is you have to have temperature, like thermometers or a temperature gun to monitor temperatures for your reptiles. It is so important, especially for snakes. They need that like hot to cool gradient of temperatures. It is incredibly important for snakes. And so making sure you have all the necessary supplies. You need to be comfortable feeding your snake whatever they eat. In the case of both Sesame and Casper, both of them eat frozen thawed mice. And yeah, you kind of need to be comfortable with that. If you get a snake that is fed on live, you might have to deal with that. And so something I really recommend, especially if you are getting your snake from a reptile expo or a reptile breeder, is to talk to the breeder and see what they've been fed. I personally would not feel comfortable adopting or taking in a reptile that is fed live rodents. It's just not something I would be comfortable with. And also there can be a lot of issues that arise if they are being fed live. Things can happen. It's just kind of a safer thing for the animal to not feed live. I would recommend getting your reptile from a breeder, or if you have enough experience with reptiles, I think you could go through a rescue. But I think for your first reptile, I personally would recommend going to a reptile expo and talking with the prospective breeder. I wouldn't go through a chain pet store personally, just because sometimes the animals are not in the best of conditions. I got Sesame here from a breeder who specified in Kenyan sandboas, and she answered all my questions. She was super informative and just was a delight. And she had handled all of her snakes since they were like born. So Sesame, I think, is very chill because of that as well. Don't expect every snake to be this calm. Let me just tell you that. Not every snake will be as calm as Sesame is. She's just really good. Getting as much information as you can from the breeder, I think, is super important. If you are going with a species that you might not have the most information on, I still would recommend asking as many questions as possible, especially on husbandry, which means like what their setup is, temperature, lighting situations, what they're eating, things like that. Those things are super important, especially if you're getting a snake in the winter. They might not want to eat, and you kind of need to know when they last ate so you don't freak out. Another thing I really recommend for your first reptile, get basically like a food scale and monitor the weight of your snake or reptile, whatever you're getting, just so that way if there are any issues, if they're refusing to eat, you can at least monitor their weight and make sure they're not losing weight. What other basics before you get your first snake? I recommend personally having the tank already set up before you bring home the new animal. For Sesame, I did not have her tank set up, but I think it made getting Casper easier by basically already having a tank set up and ready to go. Oh, another thing that I didn't have for a long time, highly recommend, is getting these, I'll like insert a photo if I can find one. They make these timers for outlets, and so I have my timer set to be daylight for a certain amount of time, and that way my snakes get 12 hours of daylight and they have a regular day-night cycle. Also having temperature regulators. These are super important. I can't stress this enough. You literally could burn your snake if you do not have a temperature regulator on their heat source. It's super important, isn't it? What else is important? Lots of enrichment. Even though she's a sandboa, she has a ton of things to climb on, and that way she doesn't get bored. I think also, when it comes to your first snake, making sure you don't immediately handle them is super important. Again, very lucky with Sesame. She loves being handled. But for that like first week or so, they're adjusting to this whole new environment and making sure you give them that space to adjust. Yeah, you should go in and feed them and change their water and this and that, but I wouldn't recommend immediately bringing your snake home and immediately being like, let me go play with my snake. Please don't do that. You're gonna stress them out. Hello, where are you going? She's being such a good little girl. You're being such a good girl. I love snakes. She just makes me so happy. She's so sweet. She's so silly looking. If you don't know what her face looks like, she basically has a little shovel for a face. It's adorable. Love sandboas. I'm trying to think if there's any other like major information that I would recommend. If you are getting your snake from a breeder, a reptile expo, from a reptile shop, having a contact or someone you can reach out to for information in case something comes up, you're confused about something. Not all breeders are super responsive, but I was really lucky for Sesame. Anytime I've had a question, her breeder immediately replies to me and is super lovely. Even there was one point where her breeder offered to literally drive down to like help me with her because there was a point where she wasn't eating, and that's just really sweet. So I think not just getting your first snake from the first person you see that has the type of snake you want, I think you really should try to have a good relationship with the breeder. I find that that makes it just better for me. There are places like Morph Market where, like, yeah, you could order a snake online and get it delivered. I haven't done that before, and I don't know how responsive breeders are after you take home your pet. But I personally prefer going to expos and getting to see the animals in person and getting to talk to the person who literally raised the animal. I think that's the most important thing ever. Wouldn't you say so, Sesame? She's such a big girl. One day she's gonna be like 3 feet long, and that's like insane to me. All right, I'm going to put Sesame away, and we're gonna get Casper to answer the next few questions. I just figured for the first question, talking about your first snake, I figured my first snake should be present for this. It took a lot of convincing. Casper is much shyer than Sesame. He's a little more hesitant than Sesame is. But this is Casper. He is my 1-year-old Western hognose snake. I got him, like I said, a year ago. Is a little spicy guy. If you don't know about Western hognoses, they are known for being kind of dramatic, and he definitely is dramatic. He is so unbelievably gorgeous, though. I love him very, very much. He is a snomorph, so he is white with red eyes and kind of pinkish purpley spots. If you're curious to know slightly more about his morph and his genetics, so Snow is a mix of the albino gene, which removes pigment, and then the xanthic gene, which removes all the brown coloration, and that's how you end up with a white snake with red eyes, which I think is pretty cool. I knew I wanted a snow morph because after getting Sesame, I started watching a lot of snake YouTube, and I started learning more about different morphs, and I knew I wanted a Western hognose at some point because I think they're just really cute. They have these little pig-shaped noses, and he uses it to dig. He's very good at digging too, but I see him a little bit more than I see Sesame. I figured with Casper here, we could answer one more question, and then I'm gonna put him back, and then I'll do the rest of it without snakes in my hands. And that question is, are there any tips or tricks you recommend for first-time reptile owners? Besides everything I've already said, which mainly is research, make sure you have the correct husbandry, do what is best for your animal. Those are kind of my main things always. For first-time reptile owners, tips. I will say for this guy right here, when I got him, it was like the end of November, and so in his mind, he was going into hibernation and went on a bit of a hunger strike, and that is completely normal. And like I said earlier, I had a scale so I could monitor his weight, but there was a good 2 months where he refused to eat, and I tried a ton of different techniques, which involved me having to use different things to scent his food. And so if you get a reptile, more specifically a snake, and they refuse to eat, keep monitoring their weight, and as long as they're not losing weight, that's okay. Your snake might not want to eat every single week. They could be nervous, the temperatures could be off. There's so many different factors that could play a part into why they're not eating. For this little guy, it literally was, he thought he was hibernating because he thought in the spring he was going to be a dad. And at that point, he probably only weighed like 9 grams. He was not becoming a dad at 9 grams. A lady would have eaten you. Don't you know that? I know, I can tell you're a little stressed. I'm gonna go put you away. You seem quite stressed, mister. The next question from one of my friends. Thank you to all my friends for sending questions, by the way. I appreciate you. Can I pet the snake? In the nicest way, probably not. Casper, as you saw, is definitely more shy, and even with me, he doesn't necessarily always love being handled, which I've accepted with him, and it's just, it is what it is. Sesame, though, she loves being held by other people. You can touch her basically wherever. I mean, I wouldn't stick my finger in a snake's mouth, but she's pretty good. She will let you pet her. Casper, no. And then I think this is the last question I have, which is, what are their personalities like? So, Sesame is a big sweetie. She loves being handled, loves literally, like, I could like hold her for hours and she just will sit in the same position. Sometimes I'll put her on the couch and she will just like dig in the couch and will hang out with me. What I really love that she does is if I'm wearing like a sweatshirt like this, she'll try to like dig into the sweatshirt or will like dig into my sleeve. It's very cute. She's just a sweetie. Again, excluding if I go to like take her out. Like if I try to just reach my hand in, she will bite me, but she is, other than that, a big sweetie. She's never really hissed. I don't know if sandboas hiss, but she's never really hissed or anything. She's just my like good girl. Very good girl. Sometimes won't eat, but is very good girl. Casper though, like I said, hognoses are dramatic and he is no exception. There are times he will hiss at me just for looking at him. One time I moved his log slightly and he hissed at me and smacked his little head into my finger because he didn't like that I moved his log. He is a drama queen. He loves routine. Every morning he will hear me and he will pop out of his little house to say hello. He might hiss at me a little, but he is just a silly little guy because once he's out, he is super calm. Today I think was not a good day for him. Just because actually I technically feed both of my snakes in like 2 days. So I think both of them are getting a little hungry and a little like, what's going on? What's our routine? He likes if I hold him. He likes hiding. He's very shy. He'll like hide behind my fingers and is just much shyer. If other people are around, he does tend to kind of hide more in my fingers. I think the light kind of freaked him out a little, I can't lie, because he's only really been around like big lights and cameras like once or twice. So I think it all was a lot of new and scary things for him. He does not let me pet him the way Sesame will. And I think that's just a hognose thing. But he truly lives up to what his species is. If you didn't know, hognoses literally will like puff up to look like big and scary, and if they're truly terrified and they're like, I need to be left alone, they will play dead. He's never done that, thankfully. I think it would freak me out a little, but just fun facts about hognoses. If your hognose really freaks out, it might play dead on you. Yeah, that's kind of all I really got about my snakes. I don't really know. I mean, obviously, if the YouTube people have more questions, I will answer any questions in the comments. Like I said, I'm not trying to give like tips on like care, mostly because I feel like some people get really defensive with care of reptiles, and I personally try to go more than the standard of care. That's what I try to aim for. But also care standards are always changing, so just being aware of that is super important. Yeah, that is my kind of reptile expo / talking about my snakes video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you are new here, yes you, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's right there. Woo! And in the comments, if you have any questions about my snakes, please leave them for me. I don't plan to make a lot of videos about my pets just because I think it's not necessarily what a lot of you come here for, but if you want more videos about my pets, please let me know because I will make them. I don't plan on getting another snake anytime soon. I think 2 is a good amount right now. I do definitely have other reptiles and amphibians and creatures that I've wish listed as future pets, but realistically I know I don't have the space for. I don't know if that's a video anyone would want to watch, but I could go on for hours about animals that I want to have as pets. If you would like to see the occasional photos of my pets, I do post them over on my Instagram story, so if you'd like to follow me on my social media, it is always linked in the description. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!